Yeah, so my people, welcome once again to IPOB Media, the place where we bring you the gospel of Biafra. This is the only channel where you get the latest legit news, information, update, trends, happenings, events, and everything you need to know about Biafra and our struggle for freedom. Alright, if you're new to this channel, do well to subscribe, click on the notification bell so you don't get to miss out on any of our videos, and don't forget to share this video to all your social media platforms so that everybody, the world, get to know what is going on, especially our fellow Biafran brothers and sisters. Also, we would like to see your comments in the comment section. Share your thoughts and let us know what you think, and give this video a thumbs up. All right, in this video you will see the history of Biafra, right? There are things you don't know that happened, and it is very exciting that this man has come out to give us the history, right? And it is a very interesting one, so that you get to know your root properly, those things that they hid from us, right? And they stopped history in school. You are going to hear everything right in this video. Just watch to the very end and enjoy it.
Wanted Sharia for the northern region going into independence. That's when the British go away. It will be Sharia for his region. The other people, Joseph Tucker and all the ones from the Middle Belt, say, no, our people are not Muslims and we can't be part of one region if Sharia will be in place. They had to find common ground because they wanted a Middle Belt region. They fought and fought, they were being put down. The British settled it this way. They removed Sharia from the table and brought what they called penal code, so that those who are Christians can function freely, uninhibited in that. And that was the condition upon which the Middle Belt became part of northern region of Nigeria. Therefore, from the day in year 2000 that those 12 states, the portion in green in your map, from the day in year 2000 that those 12 states simultaneously imposed Sharia in their contiguous territory, they had moved away from that foundational agreement. They have seceded from the Union of Nigeria. They have seceded from the secular Federation of Nigeria. Having so seceded, they reinforce, they are now coming to overrun the rest of the place. And why do they have to resort to that? The constitutional instruments they put in place, including the one the British helped them to put in place since 1914 to 1922 to 1946. I'm sure you heard about McPherson and Littleton, all the way to independence. That became 63, which collapsed in 66. I'm now landing in the one that is on the table. And what we must do, which if we don't do, we will pay in blood. If we don't do, we will pay in blood. It doesn't matter what the noise elsewhere is. When it came for the British to go, and they were asking those territories they had governed for over 70 years at the time, how do you guys continue when we go? They had governed them as 3 different countries. Nobody knew what they were doing in the north. Nobody knew what they were doing in the east, on the west. Gradually, the meetings that began to bring them together started happening towards the 50s. By the time we came to 53, Enohoro moved the motion for independence because they thought they had come to where they could become independent. The northern delegates opposed it and defeated it. What was their reason? They said, oh, we cannot go from British colonialism, that we're backward. We're not yet in a position to compete with you. So if we go to independence now, the British will step away, you step into their shoes, then we remain where we are. You can go your own. The British didn't tell anybody why they wanted the union to be. Remember that before then, Ahmadu Bello had cause to lament that this was the mistake of 1914, that Nigeria was a mistake of 1914. And not long after, Awolowo also had reason to say that this geographical expression, no, the ones who were building Nigeria did not believe in it up till that point. At what point did it now become something that has become non-negotiable, sacrosanct, indivisible? Because they've managed to impose, constitutional models away from what was agreed. Because by the time they were getting ready, they had to make themselves constitutions, as like you have Germany and France and Portugal going into European Union. All the negotiations of what they would do for themselves and what they will allow the European Union authorities to do for them. The federal government is supposed to be a union office for independent units. And that was how they came. Yes, that's how they came to where they became one country, to have accepted that level of autonomy. And it was Ahmadu Bello that made that demand. In all, by 1966, the 5 constitutions that defined the federation, the coup came, those constitutions were toppled. All those who are talking about restructuring and how it will happen, those constitutions that were toppled defined the Federation of Nigeria. From the moment they were toppled, the Federation of Nigeria ceased to be. The country was still in place. And a rogue federal government emerged. Elements who, wearing the garment of that Nigeria that had died, began to run riot, seizing the assets of all the federating units, which were contributing only 15% of their income, as they agreed, for the upkeep of the center. The center didn't own anything. So we came from being a federation into this unitarianism. And by the time they were going to hand over in 1979, they had found a way to also work out something that became a constitution that was not discussed. And it was that constitution that was not discussed, in which they had created all kinds of structures from the 4 regions they met that were on ground in 1966. We have now 36 states created by decree. So a new majority has emerged. Each of the states has 3 senators at the place. So, 4 local government areas in which Kano alone has 44. And Lagos that had the same 20 local governments with them at the beginning is still keeping 20, whereas Kano had been broken into Kano and Jigawa. Between the 2 of them, they have 71 local government areas. What are they bringing to the treasury? Nothing. All the money Nigeria has to spend is between the oil money, the port money, and the VAT that is raised here. These people who bring nothing take 72% as of right in the place of sharing. And they're the ones who decide what other people will get, who they give more, who they give less. And in all of this, democracy, let me just refer to the documents you have in one of the documents, you see where we try to define democracy, that we do not have a democracy because democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. In those three legs of definition, government of the people means that you, in exercise of your right to your sovereign right, decide the supreme laws of the land. The constitution we have on the table today did not come from that process. And so we have not decided whether we will live together or how we will live. The second leg is of the people, meaning that only your vote can send people to government house. And when they get to government house, they can only function according to that constitution you already made. Do we have that? The third leg, for the people, meaning that those who wield government powers must do so not only in accordance with what was put in place in the constitution, but for your benefit. The reason we don't have the things that should have been coming to you as citizens is that you have not written the script of what should happen. And so you have in this constitution provisions that exclude responsibility towards you. Section 6, subsection 6C of your constitution absolves government of all responsibilities towards you. They don't owe you any school, they don't owe you any hospital, they don't owe you anything. Anything they do, they are doing out of the milk of human kindness. That is one. You have appropriation provisions. Section 81, Section 82 hands over the keys to the treasury to the president. Section 121, 122 hands over the keys to the treasury to the governors. So they don't owe you any obligation. They have the spare key to the treasury. They have immunity in section 308. At what point are you going to get anything from them? How did you come about that constitution? By imposition. And what all the cry and demand for repairing this place goes to is to say, let us accept we have departed from the foundation of being a federation. Because if we were a federation, Lagos Port would belong to Lagos, oil and gas of Niger Delta would belong to them. The middle belt, where killings are going on unabated, unchallenged, will have the right to defend themselves because they will have guns. The Constitution has 68 items on the exclusive list, all written by decree, that make it impossible for the middle belt to touch any gun. You saw where the governors went crying, and the president said, go home and live in peace with your Fulani of Benin. If we do not remove that from that constitution, nothing will resolve that question. As it is for those killings, so it is for electricity. I cannot generate electricity because it's on the exclusive list. Lagos has 40 million people. It cannot generate electricity. Imagine the day comes that California cannot generate electricity and have to wait for Maine to come and give them electricity. They will leave the union. Imagine the day that Texas is no longer in control of its oil fields. Would they remain in the union for 24 hours? And it's supposed to be a federation. What is a federation? So we're in a fraud now in which the federation that collapsed is being sustained by brigandage, and they have imposed a constitution that we can no longer question. And anybody who says, what are you doing? What was Abiola's offense? Do you know why Abiola was killed? The servant does not rule over his master. So it's not only Jonathan that had to be chased away because he wasn't one of those who could preside. These same people are doing the killings in the middle belt, doing the killings in the east, doing the killings in the west. They are the ones who seized everybody's asset. They are the ones who imposed this constitution. And you join them to go to elections under that constitution. By what constitution would they govern? Anybody who wins in this election, by what constitution is he going to govern? You are reinforcing your enslavement. And if they kill you in the process, it's your ignorance that killed you. We've been going all over the place trying to tell people that this is what is the case. They are not listening. We went to the men of God in the land, without exception, quietly. Sir, here's the problem. If Desmond Tutu did not join Mandela in South Africa, would you not still be in apartheid now? Where are all men of God? If not for people like this, who say, look, enough of this thing being said in quiet places. There's nothing I've said here that I've not said on national television. There's nothing I've said here that I've not said to the faces of those who have been governing Nigeria with this illicit decree. They are committing treason against the rest of us. They are committing treason against the rest of us because they put our signature on the document that sees our assets, that sees our life. And we say, we have tolerated this document for 20 years, since 1999. We will not tolerate it any further. All of you, by the time they finish the election, less than 1,500 people will be sworn in as the ones who have won in the election. 180 million people are in danger. And they have managed to get you to come be on one side or the other. Put your mind the day after the election. The people who win will have to swear to defend and uphold your enslavement. The summary of what we're telling our people now is that processes have been undertaken. The majority, the whole of the South and the Middle Belt, have been told and shown what the problem is. That constitution must go down. Those who are going to contest under it are doing so for their intestines, not on your behalf, whatever they say. If you do not wake up and go to what will work for you, you are not only going to remain in your situation, they will come to where they turn up at your doorstep with their AK-47 on their mission to conquer. Let us leave it there.
All right, my people, you've heard everything, right? And it is very essential that you know these things and keep them at your fingertips so that nobody will come and tell you you don't need to have Biafra, right? All right, let us know what you think in the comment section. Share your thoughts, and I'll be right there to respond on every of your comment. All right, if you've not yet subscribed to this video, do well to subscribe. Click on the notification bell so you don't get to miss out on any of our videos. And don't forget to share on all your social media platforms. Thank you very much. God bless.